been having a lot of issues with the car not starting, and I think I've got to the bottom of it, and it's all to do with the rotor cap. I've had issues with the rotor cap before, but also interestingly enough, the first spark plug had somehow unwound itself, so it was only kind of finger tight, and that's strange. I don't really understand how that could have happened, but it did. So what I'm going to do is replace the rotor cap. This is actually the second one I tried. It was kind of running okay on that. This is the first one. You see I managed to drop it at some point. That doesn't help getting moisture in here and stuff like that. And if you look down here, you can see there's a load of white deposits on there. This I've actually cleaned it up a bit, but you can see there's loads of deposits on there, and that's just a kind of copy button part anyway. So I tried this one here, and this is a proper tech Honda item, so it's better, but it's still second hand. And I managed to buy one. Managed to buy another one, and this again a tech part. And the good thing about it, look, tech Honda, is it came with the seal and the rotor arm, all which is basically hardly been used, just fitted and then taken off the car. So I'm going to fit both of them and show you how that happens, and hopefully this will mean the car will be running a lot better. First of all, I've got an 8mm socket. I can just come in here and undo the one there, two here, and three underneath, and remove the rotor cap. So those are undone. That reveals the arm, and then I need to take this arm off, and there's a little slot here where you can get a screwdriver in, but of course you need to turn it round so you can get to the back of it. So what I'm going to do is just disconnect the distributor, so it's not going to be charging the ignition. So undo it from there, press a big button on top like that, and we can just rotate the engine round on the starter and get it to the right point. So I'm just going to bump it round to show you. Almost. Could be perfect. So yeah, now I can see the screw head there, and I can just undo that. So it was never going to go well. In the end I just took the 3 12mm out, and then this little screw head wasn't playing ball, so I end up just snapping that off. Just get some pliers down here, pull it back, that will come off. I'm not worried anyway because I've got another one. And then I'm here with these nice Milwaukee mole grips. I'm just kind of holding on here, I'm just moving it around a quarter of a turn at a time, and I'll get there and I'll get another nut and get another screw in there. But either way, so that all mauled, but it's out. It's off there. Right, I've just got this little bit of metal. Get rid of that. Don't use the spring. That needs to stay where it was, which is on here. Right, and then go and get the new rotor arm. So the spring's back in. So I managed to get another screw. Turn this round so the flat side's facing down like that. Then you can place this in. And then just place this screw down there. So that's in there like that. Next thing to do is take this old seal out, because I'm sure it's probably going to be a bit past its best. Get the old seal out. Here we go. And then we'll put this new seal in. New seal's in all the way around. Got a nice new cap. Just place that in there, make sure that spring is in place. So you can see that there. And then tighten this down. So here's a common mistake you often see on these distributors. People over tighten these bolts here, and then you have a big crack there, and you know eventually it fails. So just don't go mental and tighten these things up. Then there's a big side and little side. The big side's got a line on it there. You can see the big side is actually towards the bottom. So it'll only go in one way really. There you go. And you see before I took it off, I drew a line on top, and that just means you don't have to redo your ignition timing, static ignition timing. I'm just going to place these three 12mm in. So they're tight, and push this connector on, and then just place it on there like that. And then the spark plug wires, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 is this one here, 2 is this one here, 3 is this one here, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and just check they're all nice and in there. Let's start the car. Has this improved things? Let's have a look. Check not in gear. Certainly sounds a lot better than it did. It was kind of spluttering and stuff before. So yeah, a new distributor cap and rotor arm, especially on these cars, and especially on if the cap is old and maybe cracked or whatever, and also if the seal's really old as well. None of those things are going to help, obviously. So just replaced it, and now it seems to be running a lot better. Back with this Civic, had some issues with it not starting. We've changed the distributor cap and the rotor arm, and I'm just going to give it a quick start now to see if it will go or not. Connected up the battery. Almost went. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. It's almost going when you come back to it, and then basically not going afterwards. So I think it's a spark issue, and what I'm going to do is just take the spark plugs out again and have a look for the strength of spark. So just undone the spark plugs. Just use the thing. You can see here it's a clean spark plug, but it's kind of covered in fuel. So the car's getting fuel, but it's just not igniting it. So I think we've got a weak spark or something going on with the Dizzy. So I'm going to basically go through the checks with the Dizzy now. I'll show you how to check it. First of all, you need to undo the 3 8mm, remove the distributor cap. Then you need to take off the arm. I'll bump this round on the starter motor till the point where I've got the screw head here at the back, in the little keyway. And what you can do is just undo that bolt. There's the bolt coming out, screw. Then that's the rotor arm coming off. Then this little cover, and this reveals the actual ignition coil. Then we've got our multimeter here, setting on the 200 range, and then we're going to measure between the A, which is the plus, and the B, which is the minus. Okay, so if we just place that on here, and we should have something between 0.63 to 0.77 ohms, so that's in a good range. And then we keep on the A terminal at the bottom here and go to the secondary winding, and we need to change that to the 20 kilo ohm setting. Okay, and then we have a 15.55 or 15.54, and that needs to be somewhere between 12.8 to 19.2 kilo ohms. So we know that the ignition coil itself is in good condition. So I've got the distributor disconnected, and I'm wanting to check the ICM now. So I need to disconnect these 3 little connectors there. There's 1 there, there's 2, and there's 3. If I can just get that one out, yeah. And the colours are white with blue, black with yellow, and white with blue. And now we can check. To level 2. Come out. Now I'm changing this to read 20 volts. The distributor needs to be connected between the black yellow wire here and the chassis ground, and there's battery voltage, so that's good. Wiring colours here, it's all a bit discoloured, but that should be yellow green. This should be black yellow, and this is white blue, but it's almost so discoloured you can barely see it now. Now check between the white blue wire and the ground, and there's battery voltage again on there, so that's good. I'm going to do a quick continuity check between this white blue wire, so there to there. That's good. May as well check the others as well, just for a laugh. Continuity check between the white blue to the ground. There's no continuity. Tests were good, so the wiring tests, and I'm going to just replace the ICM, which is here, because I think it just can't hurt to do it, and just to see if things are better or not. So I'm going to get my little haul of distributors and just take one of the old ICMs out.
What's an ICM?
Ignition control module, Andy.
What's it do?
Controls the ignition. So this is the ICM from a different distributor. Just got one little screw there, kind of holds it down, and then you've got, so it should be ready to come after I've taken these two out as well. So I'll just disconnect this. I think that's a 7mm.
This is part of Paul's distributor collection, and the other part of the collection's in here.
I did this from the coil here so I could get it out, and just taking out these bolts that are in the side here, and the one that's on the top, and there's the ICM out. Now I just need to do the same to the one that I've got in the car, and then just switch them over. I've just taken these little bolts out there, or screw there, 2 bolts there, and I'm just going to pop this out of here like that, and then this whole thing should be pretty much ready to come out. Should be, he says. So I'm just getting trapped by that wire there. There we go, and then I can just wheedle this thing out, and you see these are the same parts, but I'm going to put this one in. And as I do it, I'm going to place this one round the side in first. So I'll just show you that. So this one here, there you go, that's in. And just push that down there. It's just a matter of putting all the other cables. So this cable goes in here. There you go. And it goes on this point here. This goes around the front, goes like there, and then these go on top. So this black with yellow goes on here and just on that middle prong, and then this one, to get this from the right way around, goes here. So the white with blue goes on the top there, and I can just place this onto that top. So then I've placed this into the A point there, and then I've just got this little screw here which attaches this little wiring tower to the ICM. And again, you don't need to go mental wood tight with any of these. And then this one here, these are the 2 bolts that just hold the ICM to the body of the distributor housing. So there's one in there. Just be careful not to do any cross-threading nastiness. And then got a 7mm here. And then we can just tighten those down. The next thing we need to do is get this little cover on here. This slide it on like that. You've got the rotor arm, like that, and then you've got the screw. So this, yeah, that's coming later. So you've got the screw here, and then just place that in there, like so. It's got this little kind of way in at the side here. Just make sure that's tight. Then we've got this little spring that goes on the coil, like so. And then we've got the actual cap, which is back over at the car. Got the large side here, which has the line on it, and that corresponds to the large side there. So I'm just going to place this in there like that. Okay, then I can just get my 12mm bolts. You see I've already got the line on top here, which is a good method of checking you can have the same static ignition timing. So I always do that, just put a little line. But really, for most of these cars, as long as you're somewhere in the middle, you're not going to be massively far off, and you can always just use a timing light and change it. But if you've already done it once, it's already done, so why do it again? That little spring is there, and then just place this on here like that, and make sure it's clipped in like so, and then just do up these. This is the spark plug. I'm just cleaning it up just with this copper brush, and letting the cylinders dry out as well in case they got flooded from before. And yeah, we'll just do that for all four. So there's the spark plug, nicely cleaned up. Just lower them into those holes, and then we're going to do them up with the same method as usual, just by going anti-clockwise until we hear a click, and then just do them all up. Got the distributor connector, click, and then click it on there, and then let's give it a hopefully fire up. All about it. No. I think I had some crap spark plugs. The spark plug NGK8s are back in there, so this is a quick ABA test.
What is it?
It shouldn't work.
Shouldn't work. Oh well.
So it's a real quick cold start with the old NA spark plugs. Starts, okay. Just a quick test. Now I'm going to lob in some new spark plugs I've got, which are exactly the same EIX Iridium spark plugs I had before. These are the ones I've just bought. These are the ones that I took out because the car's having issues starting. So first of all, you can see the box is different, the barcodes are all the same, the part numbers, you see that there, and this one here, they're all the same. So these are the BKR 8 EIX NGK Iridium spark plugs. Now I'll take one out and just compare it to the old one. This is the new one, this is the old one. I'm struggling to find any difference between them. They both seem to have exactly the same marks on them. This is M03E, M0YE. Does that matter? Is that like a serial number? I'll grab another one and see if it's got a different number on it. This one, the new one, also has M03E on it. So I don't know if that's a generation thing or what, but what I'll do now is I'll put in all these new spark plugs. So I'll put in all these new spark plugs. Again, these are the BKR 80X NGK iridiums, and we'll just see if it starts. That'll be the proof in the pudding. New spark plugs in, and then we'll just do a quick test, see if it runs. Interesting, isn't it? So basically, I think there's something up with those old spark plugs. Don't know what. Maybe they're fake. They're a very, very convincing fake if they are, or just a faulty batch. But we'll just have to keep on going with these spark plugs. We'll also try and start it on a really cold morning, because that's another test. Because the car was starting the old spark plugs before, when it was warmed up a bit. But let's just see. Apparently colder spark plugs do foul up a bit easier than you know, the warmer spark plugs, so let's just have a look. But either way, now I can back this car up.